Hi, welcome to Milk and Honey Heritage Farms, and today I did a short video on how to put tissue or a napkin on a piece. So join me and I'll show you how to do it. All right, I'm gonna aim you down. Don't forget to hit that like, share, subscribe. Please share it out. I appreciate it and thank you for being here. So let's get to it. Okay, let's see if I can get you down here to see what I am talking about. Okay, so from the Dollar Tree store, you can pick up these little metal pieces. And you'll want to take the sticker off, but I did the side without a sticker. They've got all kinds of different shapes and things like that that you can choose from. You can also get these little pieces of, I don't even know what this stuff is. It's not really wood, but they've got all kinds of stuff at the Dollar Tree store. You might have something laying around like a pot. You could use a tin pot or something like that if you want. Like here's that. Today we're going to do this butterfly. And so what you're going to do is you're going to choose a napkin of a design, whatever design you want. And the napkin is sort of like toilet paper, kind of in a way, how it's got 1 ply, 2 ply, 3 ply. So what you want to do is you want to open up your napkin and you want to separate it from the ply. And you want to only be using the top ply. So that's what we're going to focus on. So you're going to carefully separate the very top layer. And like I said, some of them might have 2 or 3 different layers. This one only has 2. And I'm going to use this blue and white polka dot napkin. And then you can use this napkin for another project or just a napkin. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna use, okay, I got craft stuff on this. It's modge podge for the glue, but also at the same hand as you can use, let me grab it, hold on. You can use Elmer's glue or generic whatever kind of glue, and what you would do is you'd pour some of this in a little dish and add just a pinch of water and mix it up in your bowl with a little bit of water so it's a little thinner. You want to thin it out a little bit. You can use that, or you can go to the store and buy any kind of Modge Podge if you don't have it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our design of whatever that you're wanting to apply the paper to, and you're going to cut close to the design, but you don't have to get it, because you don't want to have a whole bunch of extra paper, okay, if that makes sense. You don't want to have like this whole thing, because we're gonna use some fire to, I just cut too much, but that's okay, we make mistakes. So you want to line it up and make sure that you get enough paper to cover all the corners of the object that you're doing. So I'm just going to do it like that. So you cut it out like a square or a rectangle, not too much bigger than the object that you're doing, if that makes sense. I hope I'm not boring you. And set aside the napkin that you're not using, or tissue. You can use, you know, like tissues that you wrap gifts with, stuff like that. Okay, so now that I have my piece cut out, it's going to fit with not a whole lot of extra to burn. You might want to cut out a little bit of this here. It's got this little tag on it. If you can, I don't know if you can see the little tag here. Maybe if I put this, take that off, it'll just be a fire hazard. You can reattach it with some kind of glue back on it if you want to. You can put a string, or even you can use like a little metal thing to stick in the ground for like outside yard art or in a house plant. Okay, so now what we're going to do is you're going to use your watered down glue of whatever, white glue and a little pinch of water mixed in well, or whatever kind of Mod Podge you may or may not have. And so I've got this dog chewed on the end of this brush, but anyways, it still works, right? So you're gonna get it and you're gonna apply it fairly quickly and as even as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. The most important thing is you wanna make sure that all the edges have, for sure, I mean, you wanna cover the whole area, but you wanna make sure that the edges have some of that on them for when you apply your napkin. So that way, when you're doing the burning technique, it doesn't burn any much further past your lined design. Okay. So you just want to move quickly just because you don't want it to dry too fast. You can get a bigger brush if you want to. You can apply it with whatever you think you want to apply this with on there. Doesn't have to be a brush. Like I said, I picked this up at the Dollar Tree store. You can get the glue, the white glue from the dollar store if you want. If you don't already have any, make sure, again, all the edges are got this on there. And then I'm gonna throw my brush in the sink because I'll wanna rinse that so it doesn't get hard. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna apply the napkin of your choice right on top and just gently tap it down. You see that? I'm just gently tapping it down, okay? So now you'll want to use some of these safety precautions first. You always want to make sure you have a source of water nearby. I'm doing this in my kitchen sink, so that way if there are any issues, I can quickly turn the water on. Anyways, what I'm doing here is I'm patting the napkin down onto the butterfly that I'm doing. And you know, you can cut several different designs of flowers and piece it together, like half, like one wing, one certain napkin, one wing a different napkin. Anyways, so when you use these, because you don't want to obviously hold it with your hand, you're going to want to make sure that you have it held pretty firmly. I'm gonna see if I can get you a little bit closer here to the sink without, so that you can see. And I've got my faucet right here, and I use a long, one of these long dealy mabobs. Actually, I'm gonna have to, hold on. What I'm gonna have to do is switch hands because I'm left-handed and I can't do these stupid things without pushing two buttons. Anyways, safety first. Okay, so here we go. Hold it down in your sink, and what it's doing is it's burning up to all the edges. See that? It's not hot. And there's just a little bit of ash. The paper is still wet. Look at that. Is that cool or what? So this needs to dry. It's still, the napkin is still wet on here. And you can use some kind of like a rod or something and super glue like a rod to the back. You could use it for yard art. What I would recommend you do is, after this dries completely, use your glue water mixture or some Mod Podge and go over the top of it with a good coat. Let that dry again, and then you can use resin. If you don't have resin, like a polyurethane protectant, and you can spray it, but I would use a coating over the napkin, because if you put the polyurethane or resin on here, the napkin might get kind of distorted a little bit. And so what that will do is help protect it so it doesn't get further ruined. And so there's that. Once it dries, it'll kind of lighten up a little bit, but that's that one. We can do another one. You want to do another one? We can do another one real quick. Here's a unicorn, and I'll show you for example how you can put like a couple different options of design. How am I going to do this? Okay, so I'll do this one first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the unicorn's hair. Mane. Yeah, mane. I've had horses before. I know that question or answer. Okay. So I cut out the polka dots, and I'm going to attach it here first with your glue water combination. I've still got my brush ready and available. I'm using Modge Podge currently just because I already have it, and you're gonna put that on there, making sure that all your edges have been applied to, so that way it doesn't burn past your design, your cutout. Okay, so let's see how I'm going to okay, right, so there's that. And then I can use a different pattern of a napkin. Let me see if I can get this one apart. Sometimes they're kind of difficult to peel apart. And I should have peeled this one apart a little bit before we got to this point. I didn't know I was gonna do this. Sometimes they can be hard. You just have to be patient. Yeah, patience. Patience is a good virtue. All right, I got it. And so I'm gonna peel, remember, one, like toilet paper, 1 ply, 2 ply. We only wanna use the first top paper, because if you use the whole napkin without separating it, what would happen is it would probably bubble up and come apart. And all right, so I got that off. And then we're gonna go a little Americana, huh? I have no idea. I'm just doing this to show you how you can use different napkins, okay? So here, I'll put the on top so you guys can see. And then you wanna make sure that your item fits on the napkin. You don't want to have a bunch of excess napkin. Like I said, you don't want flames or anything flying around too much, right? And you just rough cut it around. It doesn't have to be beautiful. Okay, make sure my horn is in there. Get rid of the excess napkin. I'm gonna cut that extra off. All right, okay. So I got that on there, it's still wet. I'm gonna use the same brush, Modge Podge and or glue. And then you're gonna make sure all your edges are covered. And then when you're all done, you'll put another layer of your glue or your Modge Podge over the top just to protect it and keep it going good. And then if you want to seal it for outdoor use, you can use resin or like a polyurethane. So make sure you get all those edges, right? Okay, put my brush in the sink, and now Let me make sure I'm gonna get this on the, touching all my surfaces that I want covered and straight, and then tap it down, right? Make sure all the little bubbles are tapped down. Some people say to use like a plastic bag, like a sandwich bag or something, and tap it with the plastic. You can do that if you want. Okay, so now let's see how the unicorn's gonna look. We got polka dots and American whoop. Make sure your tweezer things are on here, holding it well in your sink. Let's go. Ready? Can you see it? Isn't that cool? So what it does is it burns the napkin right up to the edge. Now make sure that your Mod Podge or glue is all the way up, all the way to the edge of your item that you're doing. You could also, there's all kinds of things that you could do this with. Just be careful that you're doing it in a sink or outside with like a, maybe a bucket of water away from flammable items. That's a good idea. Okay, get this side up by the, look at that. See how cool that is? And then there'll be a little bit of that, and you just go like that. Easy peasy. Shake off the little thingies. Is that cute or what? Can you guys see that? Look at that. Okay, so when this is still wet, these napkins that are on here, and so when it's completely dry, I'll do a coat over it just because, and then I can apply, you know, something else on top of it. I can add a stick of some sort. I can add some kind of like little twine or whatnot on the back. I can put the little sticky, can you see that? No, you can't see that. The little sticky doodads back on the back with some like super glue if you want to use that as a hanger. There's all kinds of options. They have a string at the Dollar Tree store as well that you can. So if you put a string on the back, you'll want to crisscross it right here where you attach it on the back. So crisscross your string, and then you're going to want to take a piece of cardboard or something, just a little small piece of cardboard on that X of your string, and put just a little super glue, a little tiny piece of cardstock or cardboard or something, and just put that glue, super glue that cardboard right on top of those strings that are X right here, and then it loops up. That way it holds it on better when it's hanging. So there you go. There's some crafting from Milk and Honey Heritage Farms. Please like and share this video. Thank you for joining me. I hope you had a good time. Have a beautiful day.